went
Sounds great.
there. And right there is we got old Zebra saying support our troops. I am a little biased since my son is in the military. He's in Korea right now. Yeah, claiming he hated, but he hates everywhere he's at, so I don't put much heat into that. But you should be supporting our troops nonetheless with old Zeebs there. Then there's Cito hanging on to Junior. Junior's holding our Uptown merch out there. We're going to be at the Windbreak Friday, so if you're in Fargo, you want to help us out, come on out to the stage, get some Uptown merch, and, keep us on the road and all that other fun stuff. And then old Zebras, there he was about 2 years ago. He doesn't look like that anymore, and that couch definitely doesn't look like that anymore. And I had some pictures of all the stuff that we were doing.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Are you kidding me? Did we do all that and no one heard a word we said? Oh my gosh. Okay, so here we go. A bridge version. I was out playing last weekend in a couple of shows. We had 40 to 40,000 people screaming along.
Awesome.
So fishing in the dark. And let's see. Then I came out here to Williston with Mr. Chad Askim and the Dakota Drum Camp.
Yeah.
Along with, let's see, we had Rob Pesky,
Yes.
Dr.
Lucas Benier from University of Mary.
There we go. And then it was Dr.
Jason Keeley from the University of North Dakota.
Thank you for helping me out with that.
No
For some
problem.
reason, I always forget their last names. I do not just want to disgrace that.
Oh, that's all right. Very thankful you're here, Wade.
Yes, and we had a couple of photos there to show you, but Apple's weird now, and they don't really let you do airdropping stuff anymore, and it just didn't work out. So we had 20 kids at the camp, and yeah, we made a lot of noise for a good 3 days there.
Yeah.
And had a really good time. The kids had a really good time. Man. It's awesome. So we got to get to Chad here after I had to talk about again. Rising Tide does raise all ships and all that fun stuff. Those of you who've watched before, you know exactly what I'm about to say. So if you can hit the like, subscribe, and all that other fun stuff, that's something I usually don't say till the end. So do that right now, and that'll be helpful. But let's get to Chad. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
And thank you for being on.
Yes, I'm excited to be on your podcast.
I know I only asked you a week and a half ago, but
I believe so, yeah.
I was wondering, I was like, I have this technology now. Does it work outside the house?
Yes.
Let's find out. And I think the best place it could have been was out here in Williston, since we had some extra time. And at least I thought I had some extra time and all that. But
well, the camp wrapped up on Tuesday.
Exactly. And we got some work done today.
We did. We did some tech work on our drum line and some other instruments. And now tomorrow, kind of a nice chill hang. And then, of course, Uptown playing downtown in Williston.
Downtown Williston.
Yep.
We're going to be right down there. We drove through the area 12 times today. This is what I like to do when I go to places that I don't normally go to, is I just go to the downtown areas and then I just sneak around. And I was heading back, but the place I wanted to go to weren't open until the time I was supposed to meet Chad and
that's all right.
Bisbee.
Yes,
Mr. Bisbee.
Mr. Bisbee is our high school band director here at Williston High School. So we did most of our work out here at Williston High.
So I was looking for a place to go hang out, and I couldn't find one, so I decided to do the old, let's see if I can find the high school still. And this place is hidden. It is not where you think it would be. I found myself into a Halliburton area and all sorts of, where it says turn around now, that type of stuff. And I'm like, okay. And then I finally found it. And when I found it, he said, "Oh, we're going to be an hour late, so you you might as well go hang out."
Yeah.
So I went and took off, and then literally, I think it was 10 minutes later, he told me, "Oh, we're here now. You can come back." So it was fun. I was driving around town for about an hour and a half. So yeah, I went through that area about 12, 13, 14 times. So no, that's what I like to do when I'm out and about and doing
Well,
things.
it's a beautiful time of the year. So
And you had an exciting morning, run new gear left and right from the consolidation of schools that's going on.
Yes, our school district is consolidating grades. I teach middle school, and our middle school will now be 5, 6, 7, 8 on one campus.
Whew.
So a school that was part of our rural school district, District 8, and our school district, District 1, combined 2 years ago to District 7. So now some of the instruments from certain buildings are finding their way to the middle school, and so I was on a project of picking up some guitars and some percussion instruments.
Gotcha.
So it's not that exciting. But my truck did overheat, and that got exciting.
That is exciting.
Yeah. So pretty sure I've got some type of hose issue there, and
Are you leaking antifreeze? Do you have any idea?
I didn't see any puddles. No.
Okay.
No. It used to hemorrhage a lot of oil. It turned out I had a punctured diaphragm in the oil pump.
Oh, for fun.
Yeah. So
that doesn't sound cheap.
Well, the part wasn't that bad, but man, we spent a lot of oil. I mean, really, like
Just keep dropping it in there.
Well, I like to think of it as just reinvesting it in our community, so that because we make a lot of oil out here or produce it, and yada yada yada. So what I was doing is purchasing the product and then putting it all over the street of outside our home. So, but we got it fixed. That's what matters. The truck is still
what matters.
Sort of running, and that also is going well. So.
He's got his new Honda truck. Yes. I know he said he's grown up into the big boy type vehicle thing. I'm still driving the minivan.
I would too. And I want all of the viewers out there, all three of you that are watching tonight, or none, or 40,000, to know I really do love my Honda Odyssey. We love Honda Odysseys in our family so much. My wife has one. I have one. My son Ivan, who is going to be a freshman at NDSU, also has one. But we came across a Ridgeline in Bismarck, and it's Canadian, so everything's in Celsius and kilometers. And it asks you if you want.
Only in North Dakota you'd find certain things.
Kind of like that, yeah. So we got it. It's great. It's awesome. Really pleased with it. But I had to sell my van and sell a Honda Pilot, and probably will have to at some point say goodbye to the white truck. So.
Oh no.
Yes, sad moment there. If you have any sad violin background music right now, would be the time to program that.
That's where I would do it, but I wasn't smart enough to figure out how to get us to listen to things. So
that's all right. Anyway, so that's
baby steps.
Baby steps for our remote access, and so we'll see you right back here, folks. Probably next year, so we can maybe do an annual remote thing here.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, a post Dakota drum camp interview. Or we could have other guest artists. Oh, that's a good idea.
There we are.
They're way more interesting than I am, Wade.
Yeah, I doubt that. This guy gets stopped every place that we go to, and then everyone thanking him for what he's done or what he's been doing or how their kids have been reacting to how he's been teaching them and all that other fun stuff. It is really cool to see, especially you're getting you do gotten gains, if I'm saying that even correctly, in the correct manner. It doesn't really matter to me.
I don't know. I don't have Riz. I've been told I have no game or Riz, because I'm out. I've been out of the game because we've been married for 26 years and we dated before that. So I don't really. Yeah, I've got no Riz. So but my shoe game is 100% fire.
There you go.
So yes, it's drip for sure.
Excellent. Well, let's get to know about you a little bit. It's like, where'd you come from? Where'd you grow up at and all that fun stuff?
I was born and raised in Minot, North Dakota. I was a product of Minot Public School District, and started percussion and playing. I started in trumpet and moved to percussion in the 5th grade. And
trumpet?
It was my brother
this is the news that I don't know about. Trumpet. How did that even happen?
Because my brother had a trumpet.
Because your brother had
a trumpet. I know it's as cliche as it was. Yeah. He had this cool Constellation trumpet, and it was dope. And Doc Severinsen was on the Tonight Show. I mean, I don't know. It just trumpet seemed cool, and
he wasn't playing it anymore. Or?
Well, no, he. I was born quite a bit after my other siblings, and so I was the
interesting.
bonus round. And so because of
Get
that,
back to
I
that.
was kind of we'll put a pin in that. I was kind of back then. There was my other one of my elder sisters played drum set and had this cool blue.
Sisters.
Yeah. So I have 3 sisters and 1 brother. Wow, Wade, seriously?
I
This is-
have no
oh,
iday about any of this. Yes.
Okay, well this is
You're the
great.
youngest?
I am. Yeah.
That would explain a little bit.
I know.
but
I
not
don't,
much.
I don't look it, but anyway. So yeah, I have a brother and 3 sisters, and my second eldest sister Cheryl was a drummer, and my dad walked into Northwest Music in Minot, North Dakota, in the mid '70s, and bought the showroom drum set that was there. It was a big beat configuration, a Ludwig Vista Light in blue, and
Vistas.
yeah, Vista
You got
Light.
to start on a Vista light.
Yes. Well, I started on a Ken rubber pad. Everybody else had, but everybody else had these really cool like Ludwig Acrolite snares with the UFO case, and they'd bring them to school and summer band. And I had a rubber pad. Now, that being said, eventually we were able to procure the snare drum and buy a case for it, and that was the snare drum that I started on. So, yeah, Ludwig Vista Light, some Zildjian cymbals. Still got the cymbals, and I bought the kit from my sister. Bought it back from her because I had it, and then she had it for her daughters, and then I bought it back from her, and I've had it ever
to
since.
this day?
Yes, it's downstairs.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome.
We could go look at it, I guess. It's not set up. It's in cases right now, but
That is fine.
there's only so much space, as you know, in the world.
So this is a regular 5-piece Vista light. You have the matching snare?
Yes, actually, you were the one that commented that on Facebook. We utilized it. I played, I played a theater gig where they wanted the pit on stage for Rocky Horror Picture Show, but they wanted something futuristic, and so I'm like, I got just the drum set for it. So we did the Vista Light out, tuned her up, and had the matching snare that went with it. So it's blue, 12, 13, 16. I've thought about procuring a 10-inch and a 14, and make it really obnoxious.
Why not?
Well, I don't know, because that's like one of those like fun basement things to do. It's not really, it's not practical.
It's just a side story in myself. When I was
Yes.
younger, one of my better friends, they somehow ran into a Vista light kit out of some, elder's basement that,
Yeah.
somebody must have passed away or whatever else, and they're just trying to get rid of it. And they picked this thing up for $50. It's 12-piece Vista light kit. Now, it wasn't double kick or nothing. It just had
Series 12
yeah,
drums.
It had all the concert toms to go with it, and it was all blue. This matching snare drum, and then I think it was 2 floors, and maybe it was just 2 racks, if I can remember correctly. But it had all those concert toms and stuff, and we'd sit there and just jam out at night.
Yes.
And then there was one point that their neighbor, because their parents were gone, their neighbor across the street literally came into their house down to the basement just to tell us to shut up.
Wow.
We were being that loud, but
I see.
Vista lights are loud. All that acrylic stuff.
Yeah, they do. They cut pretty hard. I did a different pit actually at this school for Shrek, and got to jam with my eldest son Giles.
Nice.
So I put some Blue Evans hydraulics on it to kind of dampen them up, but we wanted that really articulate sound without any sustain. But yeah, they cut. It's like birch, but with like a lot of attitude.
Yeah.
So it's
That's a good way to put it.
So yeah, for drummers, if there's drummers listening, yeah, they get that. But yeah, it's more of a family. Wouldn't use the word heirloom, but yeah, man, it's a cool kit.
So I always wish I still had my first drum kit, which was a Roger script badge. Yeah.
Oh.
I think it was the
Rogers, yeah.
No, it wasn't Broad. I can't remember what the series was. I looked it up many times. And I traded it off. There was a drum store that was in Moorhead, it was in Moorhead for maybe 2 years. Whatever it was called, Rit Drums, and he had all the cool new stuff, and all the kids had all the shiny new Yamahas and pearls and all that stuff. And I really wanted a pearl kit, and he had those nice black, which I know you hate the black.
Well, okay, but
black finished pearl kit, and it was all shiny, everything else. And I bring up my old Ludwig, my old Rogers script with the matching snare and everything else, and it was like, what can we get for trade-in? He says $50, and I said, deal.
$50,
$50, and it's gone.
Wade.
And, yeah, you can't even probably buy a tom for that anymore, much less the kit. So
Yeah, you'd be hard pressed to buy 2 drum heads for $50.
no kidding. That's true too.
Wow,
It's going to be
that's
drumsticks now. It's terrible.
yeah, man, no kidding. I just picked up a couple pairs and rang them up just under $40, and I was like,
what's going on?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
special wood, I guess. No, I don't know.
I was asking a couple weeks ago, or was it last week that we had Lang on there, and he works at Drummer's Journey, and I was asking about that.
Right.
I bought some ProMark sticks, and they're $20 a pair, and I was like, what is going on with that? And he's like, yeah, Vic Firth is matching that. It's basically the only ones that are, at least as of now, as of, was this, July of 2023, Vader is still the low baller, which I always thought of Vader as being one of the high guys.
Huh.
So now they're, at least what he was saying, that they're still around $11, $12 a pair. So I was like, I better get my butt in there and just take as many as I can. But I got lucky, and I was out thrift shopping, and I found a dozen pair of nylon tip, 5As for $4 a pair at a thrift store. They're brand new, so I'll burn them up first.
You always seem to find like the coolest, interesting deals.
Yeah, it's because I'm always out looking for stuff.
Yeah, but is it the necessity that you're looking for, or is it the hunt?
Both. Both now. It's because basically I don't want to have a real job anymore. I'm really enjoying just playing and then just being at home. And right now I do a lot of selling online, whatever else. So
Okay.
I'll be out in Williston tomorrow morning looking for stuff. I'll tell you that. Hopefully they got garage sales on Thursday. I don't know if they do or not, but I'm going to go check. In Fargo they do.
I don't know, but I'm quite interested in that, like selling things.
Yep.
Online. Interesting.
It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
It's the hunt, and then just I don't know, the research, and you just got to know certain things, and just kind of you think pop culture, but then you have to think about the history of it and why things might be valuable and why they might not be, and all that other.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not that deep, so
no,
I mean,
I've been doing this for way too long now, and
yeah,
I'm actually starting to get good at it again.
that's
In
awesome.
a couple of real months, I've been pushing on to it. So. That's a whole different story.
No.
We're on to you there, Mr. Askim. So older sisters, how much older are they? I know, I got to ask.
Wade. My closest sibling is 9 years older than I am. So
Okay.
they go up from there incrementally.
My
but
little lady, same idea.
yeah.
And it's 9 years older than that from the first one. So they got a huge span going
Oh.
on. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think Karen, my eldest sister Karen, was headed off to college when I was pretty young. So she graduated in 76. I think she was 17.
Okay.
And she did her undergraduate work at NDSU. So we've actually had quite a few family members end up there. And when my mom and dad went there, it was the NDCA. It was the North Dakota College of Agriculture. So
Farm U.
yes, Farm U back in the day. And as a side note, shout out to NDSU. My son. Oh, shout out that way. Okay, so shout out to NDSU. Right. I'm so new to this. My son Ivan is going to be running cross country and track at NDSU. And he's taking his first semester there as a freshman. He's taking an agriculture class that his advisor said, yeah, a lot of the guys like it. It's fun. It's a good teacher. And, it's a good class. So I just found it very funny. And I think my dad would have been very happy to know that his grandson is going to his alma mater and is taking an agricultural class as well. So
Very nice.
So anyway, kind of a unique tie-in. I've never done a podcast, so I don't really know what I'm supposed to talk about, and I don't know what to do with my hands
That's
either.
it.
So
Just don't get me kicked off YouTube and just be yourself. So
okay,
that's
I'll do my best. So what else would you like to know about my family?
Well, yeah, you learned about your sisters.
Yes.
And you're the youngest.
I am.
And you had an older brother that played trumpet.
He
So
did play
he's the one
trumpet.
that's
Yeah, he's pretty
9
good.
years older than you?
No, Dean is 11 years older than I am.
11,
Yeah,
okay.
I think he graduated in 1981.
Okay.
So, and I graduated in 92. So, yeah, I think I'm doing my math right.
Wow, you got me beat. I didn't even know that.
So-
I thought I was older than you.
No, I just look really old, but I am older than you. Remember, I was.
the old man in the band right now.
Oh well, that
yeah.
might be. I mean, as far as Uptown,
Yeah.
But yeah, Wade and I were in the Tri-College Percussion Ensemble. Is when I first met Wade.
A million years ago.
yeah,
Hanging out with Moses. He was pretty good.
Yeah, Moses could throw down, but couldn't find his way. Couldn't find his way out of a paper bag.
Oh,
Thank you very much. No, just
there
kidding.
we go.
Anyway, we played in percussion ensemble, and Wade came over, and we met at Concordia. We rehearsed there on Thursday nights, and that was kind of what we did. I mean, we played music at night. I mean, when I look back at it now that I have an education job, and I'm done at 3, which you're never really done, but you're done at 3, the idea of going to rehearsals at night seems very normal when I was, at that time in my life. And now we go to city band or you go to orchestra at night. And so it's just kind of ingrained in what we do as musicians.
It just keeps going over and over and over.
Yeah, right on, yeah. So that's how we met, back then.
But why did you want to get into education in the first place? That was my thing. 'Cause I remember we were in the bus on a percussion tour. I think that was the only percussion tour I've ever been on, percussion ensemble tour. And we're sitting there, and here's Chad. We're basically trading mallets and stuff. He's just back there just working the gear part out. That's where I knew this gear knowledge is going to be way, way higher than mine.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean I was working the mallets out?
You had your mallet bag out, and you're just like, oh, I got this pair. I was like, what do you got? And you're like doing trades and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I
just
guess
found
so.
it really interesting. I was like, I didn't think it mattered that much for what kind of mallet you had, as long as it was the proper, stick for the instrument. So I wasn't really worried about hardness or depth or, what sizes or, shaft lengths or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really care. It's just that.
I'm not sure what my deal was. I mean, I don't think about that as much now. And as I've gone through, and I've been teaching now, this will be my 28th year of public education. So I don't put as much precedence into that as I once did when I first started, or certainly when I was an undergraduate student. But I mean, it is interesting to find out what's in the industry and what's on the market, and new tools that may help you express yourself on an instrument. I do remember that percussion ensemble tour because I went to school from a private school at Concordia, which was a dry campus, and we had other musicians from state schools that were not.
What?
And they had a great time, and it was very eye-opening. So it's funny that you remember the mallet part of it. I remember other things.
I always remember the bus parks. That's always been my favorite part about
Oh,
it.
yeah, man.
That's where you get to know everybody. You're
Yeah.
stuck in one place. We didn't have phones back then, so you weren't just
True.
watching your favorite TikTokers, go along there.
You
actually
had to converse.
Yes.
Right on, man.
So it's that I have pictures of me with just drum pads and people around me, and all we're doing is padding out and figuring out things, and just all the stories.
Okay, so if we're going to do full disclosure then, Wade has a pad, and when he says padding out, some of us would practice and work on things, but never to the degree and to the dexterity and virtuosity that Wade would. I mean, he would just throw down and wore the pad out. So if there's any reps out there from Real Feel or any other high quality pad Logic, you should send this guy. You should hook him up. I mean, this guy he practices a lot. His hands are awesome, and he wears pads out. So I mean, he really put the time in. That's why he is as great as he is.
I don't think
so. that's the real truth, folks.
Take the compliment. Yeah.
Well, I'd never seen anybody. I had the same pad, man, and mine was beat up, but it was nothing like yours. Yours was like worn down. It was awesome.
Gramps now, yeah. It kind of just sits on the wall. Had Captain Throwdown got the.
That's right. Yeah, Dr. Throwdown.
Dr. Throwdown.
Yes, John Wooden. Oh yeah, man, that was was that a great clinic?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
he was super hip.
He even used it on there. I have a video of it. That old grandpa. And I'm just like, there's no bounce left in this thing. He's like, that's okay. And halfway through it, he just got rid of it, which is smart on his part.
Yes, possibly.
But what got you in education in the first place?
Oh, that was the question.
Yeah, we never got to that point.
This is how it goes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what's beauty about this. It goes anywhere.
Yeah, my mom is a teacher. And my aunt was a teacher, and aunts were teachers, and all the way back to the homeland, back to Norway. I mean, we just have that's what we do. I mean, some families are cops, some families are firefighters. I knew I was going to go into teaching. My plan when I was younger was either science or phy ed. I got a scholarship to play some music in Concordia and fell into music education. I did not have plans on doing what I'm doing. It just kind of worked out that way. And so In some respects, I have an advantage in that I didn't quite geek out as heavy duty as some of my peers. But because I didn't, I've had to work a lot harder in other aspects, in music education, because there's so much, especially in public education, when you're dealing with middle school or elementary, there's a lot of different aspects that you need to know and a lot of different tools.
You're expected to know it, yes.
Right. So you have to wear a lot of hats, and sometimes the hats fit, sometimes they don't. And if they don't fit, you gotta get working at it so that they do. So I started teaching band here in Williston. I taught for a year in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Clarkfield, Minnesota, and
Shout out to Clarkfield.
shout out to Well, the school's destroyed. They tore it down.
Oh, is it gone now?
Yes. It was a school district called Yellow Medicine East, and it was the entire eastern part of Yellow Medicine County. That was in the fall of '96 was my first job, and that spring was '97, which is where the earth flooded, basically.
And I missed it all. Oh, no.
So, I that was quite the baptism. Side note on that, we lost 31 days of school. 31 days of school. We had 5 days straight. No school.
Prepping you for Corona.
Kinda. But this is but what was weird is that it was 5 full days of school, 5 different blizzard days, and 1 full solid week due to the flood, and then 21 partial days where it would be blue sky as we're looking out of the window here in the band room, but they would call off school because the size of the school district was so large that they had to bus kids. In fact, we had 2 different area codes for phone in that county, from Granite Falls and Echo and Clarkfield, where I lived and taught. It was a really big school district. So as far as proximity, they had to get kids home and get safe. And it was just a crazy, crazy winter. So I spent a lot of time in my weird house. I owned nothing. I bought a bed at a store that was like the big purchase, and I bought a garbage can. That was also kind of a sort of cool purchase. It's strange what's important to you when you're 22. But I bought a bed, and
adulting things.
It was kind of like growing up, yeah.
Yep.
So I was adulting because I had to do yard work, and I got a bed, and I owned a bed, and that was it. No TV, no Nintendo. I had a drum set up in the living room. I had a milk crate and a tray that I ripped off from college, and I pulled the second drawer out in the kitchen and sat on the milk crate, and that was my dining room table. And I had no friends at all in the 20s. Like my best friend was Harriet Orrs, who's no longer with us, but at the time she was 78. And her best friend was Mabel Toots Miller across the street. And that's who I hung out with. So it was quite the winter. It was kind of a strange winter in the spring, and I was engaged, and so Helen and I got married, and that summer, and I applied for a job in Fargo Shanley, and did not win that position, but I applied for Williston. I found out about the job opening the night of our wedding from a French hornist named Mario Lockway, whose father was the band director here at Williston High, and applied, got the position, and was the band director for 12 years. And then transitioned in 2008 into general music, where I kind of had developed our guitar program, had an emerging world music program, and then by that time I had gone back and had earned my master's, and my thesis was on batucada, which is a Brazilian style of samba, and how to incorporate that into a general music classroom. So that was the book I wrote. Excellent. And so we've been doing world music, and because of the way our schedule is set up in our school, they're 9 weeks classes. There's a wheel, and so they take Spanish and keyboarding and world music. So I cycle through for many, many years a lot of the 7th graders. So when I say I've taught thousands and thousands of kids, it's not hype. It's not an exaggeration or hyperbole. It's just it's a couple hundred kids, 250 to 300 kids a year that go through our 7th grade world music for many, many years. Now it's kind of shifted now, and my new role as of next academic year for District 7 will be to teach band with Bridget Steppen, and I will be going back to my band roots, but I teach percussion in band, kind of like a pullout. And so we could rehearse with the band, or rehearse in my classroom. And so I'll have 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then I'll have 2 classes of guitar and jazz combo, which is something I'm very passionate about, and I loved a lot when I was the band director, and I kind of got away from it because I wasn't the band director anymore. So I'm pretty excited to kind of get my hands back on that and see what we can do. Do some cool stuff. Work on improvisation and just share with them how much jazz changed my life in the 7th grade on Wednesday mornings in Minot, North Dakota at Ramstead.
It's always in the morning too, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah,
we say no good jazz happens before midnight. So.
Well, our combo was at night, our jazz band for a long time. And then that kind of became a combo, and we rehearsed after school because jazz band moved to the day when it became a different director, and so they had it during the academic day.
That's awesome.
As a class. It was awesome. It was really cool. It was a good move. So
my good friends, their senior year at Fargo North.
Yeah.
Fargo North. Yeah, because it was an open campus, and Moorhead was an open campus. I probably could have graduated if I put my things correctly my junior year. That's how I was. I needed a mentor, we'll just say that. But all they had was regular band, theory, and then jazz band. And I think they had two different versions of jazz band, so that's all they had.
Okay.
Just went in and just played and then walked home. I was like, what? Why? And then at Moorhead, we didn't have a jazz band. Well, I shouldn't say didn't at all. We had semblances of ones here and there, but that was about it.
At Moorhead High?
Yeah.
I see. And you graduated from?
Moorhead High.
Yeah. But they didn't have much of a jazz band, you said?
No. The thing, maybe 2 semesters worth, and I've probably been a little generous with that. The only one I really remember us doing is, was it Giant? Am I saying that right? Giant Steps?
Yeah, Giant Steps, yeah.
Remember doing that, and then there's this one called Technically Speaking, which is just some kind of fusion-y type deal. I think that was because he saw that I was just more of a metalhead, and I might have been more up my groove. So
we played Slam by David Sanborn, saxophonist, but it was some arrangement. It was called Slam, and it was it was a 16th note, cheesy whatever.
Yep.
We had great experiences in jazz in middle school and in high school, but in undergraduate at Concordia, my freshman year I played, but after that I kind of drifted away from it because I got more focused on education and on. Oh no! We got to charge something
Our
there.
camera is going down, but
that's okay. No one really needed to look at me, so
that's fine. We got some segments we got to get to here.
All right.
But no, let you finish your thought.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to podcast. So, yeah, I just moved away from that and
have to check out the battery thing.
Focused more on classical percussion. So, yeah.
But why classical? That was my whole thing.
Why Concordia?
Well, yeah, I suppose it's probably a little bit of an influence because I know when I went to college the first time at MSUM, it was because it was Rock U. And I knew I wanted to pursue music because there was a time when in my junior year, my mother was dying. And, I was getting into a headspace that I didn't realize I was getting into. I just angry teenager. And I really loved auto mechanics. And then, there was drums, and I was just always somewhat good at the drum part. So,
right.
And then auto, I'd love the challenge. And I don't want to brag, but I know I was one of the top 4. And I steal a lot of my teaching techniques from not Dr. Miller, but his name was Miller. Darvin Miller, but he died multiple years ago. But he just had this way of just punching, what he needs you to remember right down your throat, and then you just remembered it. It was really great. And I try to do the same thing, especially when you see me teaching drumline. All of a sudden, I'll just start yelling about something. That's because I want you to remember that point. And I stole that from old Miller.
Sure.
But I just remember him stopping me one day because I had a point in life that I was just like, I'm just going to pursue music. Cars are fun. I'll do that on the side, but I'm going to pursue music. And that it showed in my academics, at least in the auto part, because apparently Moorhead auto shop, whatever, classes were known in Minnesota as being one of the top ones.
Wow.
So, yeah, they'd always go down to state, and they always had competitions. They're usually in the top 3. And I was in the running for actually being one of those people, and I just kind of stopped caring, and then he actually pulled me aside. He's the only teacher ever to do that, and asked me what the problem was.
That's really cool.
Not
right?
being like, how come you're not doing it? It's just like, I seen you. You having any problems or issues? Or, he was that guy, and I still remember that to this day.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, teachers
I
can
thank
have
you,
a
old Darvin.
profound influence on kids, and he reached out to you at a time when you certainly needed somebody to acknowledge what you were going through.
Yep,
and
besides
doing.
all the other stuff. Where they pull you out and they're just like, hey, we're going to have you talk in a circle with other people with cancer survivors. And we're like, why are we here?
Oh.
That's literally what it was. It was like, how do you feel today? What? I'm out of math class? What? Why am I? That's the way it felt.
I see.
So,
But that's really cool. I mean, that you had that connection with him and that he recognized that.
Yep.
And that you found your thing, man. You found your people.
yeah, so that's why I went to MSUM, and then I realized that, we're supposed to know how to sing. Oh, whoops, missed that boat. And then
Oh, man. No kidding.
yeah, and then there was a whole bunch of other stuff, and that's where
I hear ya.
and that's where I also learned that people, when they are in a school and they're paying good money to learn something, maybe are not as enthralled with what they're learning than other people.
Yeah.
Is that a good way to say it?
Yeah. No, there's some people that are full tilt and they know their career path and they know what they're going to do. And there's some of us that are like, yeah, drums are really cool. Wait, I could teach drums. Oh, that sounds pretty fun. I mean, then I could be a teacher, check that box, and play some drums. That sounds great. Check that box.
And that was me. I didn't want to teach. That was not in the cards at all. I was there as music industry, and then we had a certain person, and I decided I wanted to go somewhere where it was actually like a little more serious, and that's I kind of accidentally fell into the North Texas type thing. 'Cause a friend, my best friend, I should say, back in the day, was like, hey, you want to go to Texas and check out a school? And it was October. I'm like, yeah, why not? I've never been to Texas.
Sure.
And we go down there, and this is how it went. We get there. Well, besides the vibrating beds in Oklahoma, we will talk about that at a different time. But we get down there, and it was a Friday, and they had Percussion Studio was happening at that time. And they're like, and we were percussionists, all of us. Yeah, all of us in there. And they're just like, oh, wait, one was a trumpet player. He went down there as well. Oh, Mr. Aaron Burns. So, Mr. Burnsy, if you ever see this, well, you're not seeing anything, but whatever. All right, but we go down there, and they're just like, yeah, they're having studio right now. You want to check it out? And we're just, sure. And they open up this door, and it's just no kidding. It's like going into your auditorium, and it was filled with people. I don't know if they're all percussionists or not. I have a feeling it was, and there was one person on the stage, a freshman playing Kiko Abe, Dream of the Cherry Blossom, which I still not can play it to this day, and I want to because it's such a cool piece.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and she was just nailing it out of the park, and I was just like, I got to go here.
Yeah.
This is where I got to be. These are my people. And
Yeah.
Yep. So then a lot of fighting and everything else. My dad even threatening to call my car in stolen if I took off to Texas.
Oh, wow.
Yep. I was that determined to get down there, and I did it. And, well, money is a thing, and you don't know about money when you're that age until it's too late. So we'll just say that. That's why I'm back.
But
well, kinda.
But a very influential school. I mean, it was very
Yes.
driven, and that kind of helped mold and formulate who you are as a musician.
It's so great.
So, I mean, yeah. And you chopped out, man. I mean, those guys were hardcore. And you made great connections. I know you've met people in our conversations, and that when we've been together at Days of Percussion or other events, that you meet, that you have that North Texas connection. I mean, it's just a factory. I mean, it's just an amazing
It is a
place that puts out incredible musicians, top notch, absolutely.
That's what they're known for, and that's what they keep on doing. So I always say I want to go back, but I'm getting old now, and I'm happy with what I'm doing now. So
Well, yeah, you got
That's
a
what we're
podcast, you got a
getting
cool
grounded
band, and
anymore.
I mean, you got it going on, man. I mean,
but that brings me to the teaching thing. So I went down there, and it was basically had music ed. They didn't have an industry degree. I had no idea. I'm just like, I'll do teaching. Why not? It just sounded like an easy way to get through and just be able to play in the drum lines and whatever else. And I was never even close to good enough to make in any of those jazz bands. I didn't even know about those jazz bands till I got there. And everyone's just like, you're not here for jazz? I'm like, what about jazz? And like, this is the top jazz school in the world. I'm like, what?
yeah.
Huh?
That's where
okay, and then you go watch these guys, and you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near that.
That's where a lot of heavy hitters go and shop. I mean,
Yep.
They just cruise down and find the 1 o'clock band, and who's your top sax, who's your top tenor, who's your screaming, your high trumpet
so
player.
much fun to watch.
They are, yeah, it's amazing.
That's Rick's place right next door. I digress. But I went into, I think it was like the last semester, I should say, when I was there. I actually had to take an education class by that point, and we got there, and it was just one of the first days. The lady was going around the room, blah, 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 and then they're asking us to spell out our name. And all I did was chop my name into segments so they can understand, 'cause it's 11 letters long. And she's just like, oh, you are a natural teacher. And then right there, I don't know why that stuck with me. I'm just like, how is that? I'm just like, this is just common sense, I thought. But apparently that must not have been.
No, I can see
She didn't
that.
compliment anybody else the same way. So I was like, oh. So it kind of stuck in my craw. And then we came back, when I had to come back up here, we started that independent drum line. And if we wanted to make it an actual full-fledged drum corps with horns and flags and all the other fun stuff, but we had me and Mr. Siebels, and we didn't have any horns. We could get some drums for fairly cheap. And, well, I had the knowledge of these drum line type things, and, well, I just got dropped into there. It's like, oh, I guess you're teaching it. And I'm like, okay, thinking I was going to be able to pan this off to somebody else real soon. And, well, you know, as soon as you start doing something like that and you get the results that you do, you know how the teaching thing goes, but all of a sudden that hook just gets sunk into you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and you just realize how much your influence is helping out these people, and, you know, just making better people, and I think just a better world in general. So that's what really connected me into it. And, well, we won't get into the rest of my history because I'm boring. We got to get to Chad's history.
No. Oh, look at that. We're almost out of time, folks. It's been great. Thanks so much for tuning in this evening, and we hope you enjoyed the show.
The old blank.
Yeah, I don't really know what else.
I could hook up one of these really cheesy cameras quick. Start talking. I'll hook up a camera.
Yeah, sure. What? Give me a topic. What do we need to discuss?
So you're still talking about like getting into your education. And
yes.
Education while you're staying at Concordia.
Yeah.
It's just like, what were the main influences you had there that kept you going besides that mom's going to kill me? That type of
I don't think that I had a mom's going to kill me kind of situation, but I would say that the caliber of musicianship and our particular class, the class of '96, had some amazing, outstanding musicians, and so did class of '97 right behind us. Those juniors, we just, it was a highly elevated group of committed individuals that were really serious about what they wanted to do in music. The orchestra was outstanding. I had some high school orchestra experience with Mr. Tangestall asked me to play some timpani on a piece, and I thought I sort of knew how to play that particular instrument. I didn't. Thought I was in tune. I wasn't. In fact, the bassist turned around and asked, I think you're a little sharp on that. So that was my indicator that, yeah, I need to work on my tuning a little bit. So
we're back.
And we're back. Here we are.
Quality, but hey,
yeah, it's great. I like the fuzzy kind of like 1990s filter. It's kind of that lifetime memory scene. Like,
the GoPro wide lens. Here we go.
GoPro. Yeah, so I started playing in the orchestra and then went to Concordia and auditioned and made the orchestra as well as the band, and really had never been in anything like that. And we went on tour that fall. Lost my shaving kit immediately on that trip with my medication in it. And
no.
Yeah. In fact, that first gig was in Duluth, and it was a wicked storm. But somewhere on the way there, we stopped at a truck stop, and I don't know why, but I had to brush my teeth. Because, side note, if we're really just going to delve deep into some psychology, I didn't pay a lot of attention in middle school band. I was too busy screwing around. No surprise there.
What?
Yes,
Nobody
surprise.
was in
Shocking.
the back of the room.
Shocking revolution, ladies and gentlemen. And so, one of the things, much like I like to refer to it like a whale, in that you surface and pay attention just for a little bit, and then you dive deep into whatever it is you're doing, messing around. So the one time that I did surface, if you will, in class was Mr. Bugby said, you always have to brush your teeth before you play. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So somehow that stuck. And then through high school, I brushed my teeth before I played drums. And to the point where I carried around a toothbrush and toothpaste because I was in jazz band and orchestra and band in high school. And
Interesting.
yeah. And then in college, and then it was later in life, I was actually out of school and teaching when it finally hit me. And this is the aha moment. He wasn't talking to us back there. He was referring that to the brass and woodwind players. So, yeah, everybody gets this partway through the explanation of the story because it's so pathetically obvious, but it wasn't to me, and I didn't get that. So, yes, oral hygiene and health is very important to me and has been. And, yeah, as it turns out, where was this? Wait, what the hell was it? Where were you going with this?
I was just wondering what was keeping you going into the education part. As
Yeah, I know, but why would Bugby?
It's usually
I'm
a
so
certain
sorry.
point
I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, at a certain point you get into college that you're just like, why am I doing this?
Oh yeah,
As
theory is the division bell that rang acutely in my ears. I mean that particular class, especially my sophomore year, yeah, may have been in the hallway crying to mom, not sure what I'm doing here. I mean, my love of drums and percussion sustained me, and it's what kept me going each day, was knowing that night I got to go to band or that night I got to go to orchestra. But the day-to-day stuff in class, especially theory, man, I was just not prepared for that. I mean, I studied theory because I studied piano, but my piano teacher was really old and would leave the answer key in the back of the theory book. I would tear it out quick and hide it. And so, yeah, my theory was done. Oh, this is total truth. I have nothing to lie or hide from anyone, but I did not understand. I was paying a lot of money at Concordia to learn things that really I should have had under control by then. So between that and ear training as a percussionist, boy, I just wasn't strong. So I really had to work at that. And what really helped me was playing guitar.
I bet. Yeah.
When I went to guitar camp in 2000, well, the story on that is I got a grant to go to Midwest in Chicago in the winter of 1998. And my bass player in our jazz band wanted a Fender sticker because he just got this new Fender Squire, and he wanted the classic, iconic Fender bumper sticker. I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'll do what I can. So I stopped by the Fender booth, and this guitars in the classroom, Guitar Education or Gamma. This particular organization had this guitar camp. So I signed up for it, not really thinking much of it, just because they had the sticker. So I got the sticker, signed up for it. Then 2 months later, that spring, got called into the office by my boss, Mr. Roy Leeson, and he read me the riot act that I had signed a contract to attend a guitar camp and to start a guitar program at my institution. I did not.
Just to get a sticker.
The sticker was kind of the catalyst that set this in motion, but really it was the camp. So that summer I went to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and took a flight out there. Yeah, very beautiful, yes, and studied with Dr. Will Schmid. And during this time, while we're doing all of these really cool guitar things, and we're learning guitar and chords, and it took me back to beginning an instrument, which is a very healthy thing to do. I mean, to become a beginner again, so that you realize the pedagogy of how to teach things, how to go about them, how to break them down, how to explain them to people, to young people especially.
Isn't that refreshing though?
Yeah, that's what.
You get down the brass tacks and you just realize, oh, this is how it all works together.
Yes, I'm taking, or I have taken some saxophone lessons this summer. I bought a tenor.
Nice.
And because I don't know, I've got this weird dream that I think that I'd be pretty good at it. I'm not. But it's a hoot to play, and I'm really working on articulation so that I can communicate better with our wind players, on jazz phrasing and how to articulate it, because it's a different language than what we're doing in concert band. Went to guitar camp, and while that was going on, there was a world music camp going on up the hill. And so at night, we got to jam with the drummers up there from world music, and it was really pretty fun. I mean, I was sitting there trying to work on my G major chord and moving this finger here and this one, and then this one will move, and nope, this one goes back up there, and then, yep, strum. Ooh, yes, I got it. And all the time while I was sitting on the little bench by the lake trying to play this G chord to move to D chord, I could hear the drums up on the hill. So the next summer, I went to my first world music drumming. And then a couple years later, I went to another one. And then I got switched on to this guy named Dr. Craig Woodson for Roots of Rhythm, which is not a counter to world music drumming per se, that brand, but just a different one that delves into one unit per country, and then you build an instrument from that country. And that really helped me a lot. That really propelled and kind of galvanized what I wanted to do. And when I looked at a lot of theses that were out there or books that were on the market, there's a lot of West African drumming. There's a lot on Afro-Cuban drumming. But really, I was doing this pit gig in Fort Peck, Montana. I looked on the back of this book, and it had this advertisement. It was an Alfred book. It's why I remember, because the publisher had this Brazilian introduction to Brazilian music, and I was like, that's it, man. Let's do some samba stuff with kids. So that's what kind of in around 2004, 2005, because my second son Ivan was born around that time, and I was also that was a heavy time, because I was going to graduate school. I was the band director at Williston Middle School, and I taught adjunct work at Williston State College. After school, I had a program with District 8 where rural school district kids would come in and study band. And then our high school band director left. And so for the 5 months in 2005, I was the high school band director too.
At the same time.
Yeah. Woo. So as it turns out, my beard used to be brown. And then that summer, it went gray pretty fast. That was a pretty traumatic, heavy-duty time. I was really had a lot going. And I just become a dad again for the second time. So I even came into the world, and things cooled off. And we had a drum camp that Wade and I were at Yamaha Sounds of Summer.
The inaugural one, yeah.
Yeah, it was right around that time. We did that in the summer for 5 years, and that built to something pretty special. But then at that time, I bounced out. It got complicated housing kids. And
the oil boom hit, yeah.
The oil boom did come to Williston, and life did change, and I just put my priorities in check and didn't scale back, but I was more selective on what I was taking on and spent as much time as I could being a dad.
That's very good.
Because for a couple years, school got the best of me, and the family got the rest of me. And that wasn't
that is poetic right there.
Yeah,
nicely said.
That wasn't going to happen. So we kind of changed our focus. And really, it was one summer. I'm sorry what summer it was, but there was a summer that our daycare lady, Mary, she couldn't watch the kids for a while, and Ivan was brand new, so that had to been 2006, I think. He was a 1-year-old. Giles was, scooting around. He was 4 or 5. We were watching Sesame Street. Life was good, but I became a dad all summer, so that really altered what I was able to do as far as gigging and playing and being gone. So things kind of dried up in that respect. Most of my playing became at night or on the weekends, and we raised 2 excellent young men. So they're off in world, and Helen and I are she still has a minivan. Did we mention the Honda Odyssey? How much we love Odysseys? And so, yes, I get to drive my truck. She drives a van. Life's good. And the white truck might stay on. And the boys are going to be on the eastern side of this great state.
Excellent sons going there. So
yes. Well, thank you.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
But I just still remember that first camp you had, at least drumline camp. We brought in the orange shirts for all of the staff, so it stuck out. And I wish I knew where mine was, because I really want to wear that back to.
Oh man, that's funny you remember that, because I didn't know that, but that seems like something completely I would do.
It was
because all the kids got white ones.
Like, what are you
right?
doing? I was like, no, this makes sense. And then I got home, and just that shirt always stuck out of my closet, just like
orange, right?
This bright orange shirt.
Right.
Out.
Any other place in the state, I in Concordia, I had a pair of orange sweatpants that I bought at the Target in Dilworth, which was
nice.
Like way outside of Moorhead. Yeah, not anymore. But Dilworth bought these sweatpants for $5, and I'll never forget them. And I had them. They were like kind of a signature, because I unfortunately probably wore them too often in college, because we didn't really put a lot of time into fashion. But anyway, had these orange sweatpants, and I thought orange was super cool. And then I moved to Williston, where orange is everywhere. I'm literally looking at a set of drum set cases that are,
Orange.
yes, Humensenberg Enduro cases that are in bright orange, and sweatshirts
Right
and
across the room.
yes, right across the room,
No, we're
and
not gonna
T-shirts.
show it to you.
No, it's really not worth the time. But the point is, orange was everywhere, so it's not that unique of a color anymore. But you are right. We do need to go back to a camp shirt, and we're going to do that next year. And we're going to work on designing that throughout the winter. We're really excited for our Dakota Drum Camp, our third season
And that's
next
a great segue
July.
into it, because I want to talk about that. But first, we got to get to our weekend report here.
Yes.
So, Cena, we miss you, man. Ooh.
No.
I guess I won't. I'll have to do it this way. Where is it? Oh, no. There's Chad. We got Chad.
Yes, at the Canadian and U.S. border. It was me walking, having a good time up at International Music Camp. one
Maybe
summer.
I didn't load those, so maybe we won't have a weekend. We got to have a weekend report, so. How are we going to do this? Let's see. I can go to here, and then we can keep talking about how the weekend report is so very cool. Everyone wants to see it
I do.
because this is what we do every week to explain what's happening out there in the Fargo Moorhead area in a few different places. So
Yeah.
let's see if we can get to that with this. Do a little abridging. There we go. So we're going uptown here, and usually we have like a lot of fancy music and stuff going on in the background. So yeah. I can think of high upbeat music going on. At the Windbreak, we have Dan Brecky's band's going to be out there on Thursday. That Uptown band will be hitting the stage on Friday the 21st. Then Frantic Anarchy on Saturday the 22nd. Now, I've seen Frantic Anarchy basically came out of the Minot, maybe Bismarck area, definitely out in western North Dakota. I have yet to see them. I've reached out to them a couple times to be on the podcast. So Frantic Anarchy, if you're listening to this, I want you on the podcast.
It's pretty fun. Yeah.
And we have an early show that night. We're opening up for Slamabama, and you
Great
can see it
band.
down at the honor flight. So we're going to be out early. So maybe I'll be able to head on over to the Windbreak, hang out with Butter, and see what Frantic Anarchy is all about. But there we go. So we got Shooting Star Casino, Trace Adkins on Friday the 21st, and Jake McFay on Friday and Saturday the 21st and 22nd. At the TAC, we have the last 5 years. It looks like some kind of drama type thing happening from Thursday to Saturday the 22nd. And then at the Lights, we have Hairballs hitting the stage on Friday the 21st. Well, let's see. We're going to be, oh, look at that. We're at the Windbreak, so we're going head-to-head versus Hairball.
No competition.
Here you go, Hairball. We're coming for you.
It was nice knowing you folks, because Uptown is going to take them out.
Yeah, exactly it. Then we have Granger Smith and Cameron Mallow on the 22nd, this Saturday at Honor Flight. Uptown's opening for Slamabama on Friday. That's not supposed to be Friday. It's Saturday the 22nd. Typo on my part, thank you. Then we're at Downtown Acoustic Corner on Wednesday, happening right now as we speak. Aaron Simmons at Murphy's Pub, which is a few blocks from my house, but, now it's a few hundred miles. All right, and we're Thursday the 20th. We have Shane Bertrand at Camp Lone Tree on the roof. So if you're looking for that Weird Al Yankovic type of sound and or set, there's the guy to find out. He does it all. We got Doug Thompson at Spicy Pine, West Fargo. Smith and Lovin at the Silver Spike. The Bogey Boys at Sweet Shots. We have Jim White at the VFW POWMIA Plaza in West Fargo. Mike Morris at Hooligans and Michael Pink at the Traditions on Patio. And Rick Adams at Pub West, happening Friday the 21st. Todd Sisson at the Unwind. And Saturday 22nd, we have Martin Drive at Camp Lone Tree, again back on the roof. And we're downtown Front Steep Tapper, and we have open mic night with Travis Neros on next Monday the 24th. At the Cellar, we have open mic with Markway Belcher on Wednesday, happening as we speak. So you're looking to tighten up that 2 minutes of stand-up, that's the place you should be right now. And then on Friday, we got Markway Belcher and David Standel. I can read these names. Dylan Gryland, Brett Foster, Richard Z, and Blaze Kotzman, and Jenny Lou Rusi on Friday the 21st. So a whole bunch of stand-up happening out there on Friday. In the side street, we have Jazz Night next Monday the 24th, and Tailgaters at 3rd Street Blues Band on Thursday, happening tomorrow at Tailgaters. And we have Fargo Brewing Company, Righteous Songs tomorrow night. On Friday, we have Charlie Parr, and then next Sunday, Alexander Key and Tana Matz is going to be out there. At Sicky's Bar, Quick 56, our good friends Quick 56, happening probably as we speak, as we're recording right now, over at Sicky's Bar. And then Cowboy Jack's, a new open mic has opened up, and they reached out to me to make sure they have it on the report here. So Cowboy Jack's open mic on Tuesdays. Get on out there. I know old Keaton will be out there, so Got to definitely be there. And we're downtown. Dempsey's open mic with Gina Powers. I'm wearing this shirt right now tomorrow night. And then we have Stella on Friday at the aquarium. We have, I cannot say this name. I've been trying all afternoon. Skaggy Lujibog. This is what I'm going to go with. Cruelty, Vomit Froth, Gates to Hell, and Spill Canvas. Oh, wait. Spill Canvas the next day. On Wednesday, the 19th tonight, and then Spill Canvas tomorrow night. Then DJ Love and Hate and Dub on Friday the 21st. And Sounding Fathers, Sub-Atlantic, and Artificial Dopamine. I love that name. Next Saturday the 22nd. At the Alibi Lounge, open mic night tomorrow night. At the Blarney Stone, Matty J and the Bud Stompers on Thursday. And then Travis Niros next Sunday for, what is that? Some kind of brunch thing that's going on. Then Troll Lounge, Kohlrabi Soup next Friday the 21st. That's going to be without Lord Wilbur. Lord Wilbur will be with us over at the Windbreak. And then we have Terrence Bart and Martin Avery. And I think Martin Avery used to be the pastor of the church I was at on Saturday 22nd. So good seeing you out there, Martin. And then out of town at the nothing's happening this weekend, but I still leave it up there because I like to know what's going on at the At the Laughing Sun Brewing Company in Bismarck-Mandan area, our favorite brewing company in the Bismarck-Mandan area. We have Dylan Sperlin on Thursday. We have Laney Lou and the Bird Dogs on Friday. The Brother Burn Mountain on Saturday. And then Brothers Being Dudes on Tuesday the 25th. At Zorba's in Park Rapids. They have Slam Up Bam on Friday night. And then Chris Lizzotti on Saturday the 22nd. Williston, North Dakota.
That's right.
Happening tomorrow at the Williston downtown. Is it downtown days?
It is downtown. Thursday nights on Main.
Uptown will be downtown.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow night. And that's all we have for you with this weekend's report. So we got to get back to Chad and talk to him more about this stuff that's happening with this Dakota drum camp.
Yeah.
Obviously just being invested in it personally a little bit myself, as you said. Where do you see this all going? What do you plan on doing with it? And, is this going to be part of the Askim legacy? That's
let's not throw that word around.
Yeah, I know.
But I would say
it's a thing, though.
It's really not. So what we have is an opportunity for young people, especially percussionists that are in that middle school era, that are just kind of entering those first steps in drumline, to have a camp for them. We are
and getting them onto the right steps. Yes.
Yeah, getting them on the right steps with great people, man. Hire some fantastic staff and professors and professionals and have them come on out and work with these kids.
At least some of them are.
Thank you. That's why I'm the host, not the teacher. So anyway, I'm really excited about, we were affiliated with Yamaha in 2019. We kind of got that back. It was a 9-year hiatus, and as I stated before, kind of focused on family and our raising our boys. And then in 2019, the boys were at an age where we could kind of venture back into that. Reached out to Yamaha, got the camp going, and it was small and humble. And we had 20-something kids drumming there. And then COVID happened, so 20 was out, and 21, from a corporate level, they decided to pull the plug on the Yamaha Sounds of Summer, which had been around for quite a while. A couple decades, and
that's nationwide too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and we were at our peak.
End of an era.
Yeah, it was an end of an era. At the peak in 2010, we had 5 Yamaha artists on staff, and in fact,
that's true.
Yeah, it was big and loud. It was a lot of fun, and super hip was the drum lines that would come from other towns. From DSU that had that blue forest kind of drum. Yep. The drum line from Glendive, Montana, their drums were red. So we had kind of a patriotic vibe, and played with James Campbell, and we just had a great roster of artist teachers. And again, took a break, started again in 19 with Dave Marvin. And side note, at 8 o'clock the lights go off. Okay. And so we have to set them back in motion. But I'll make my story faster. I think that's my cue. Nothing in 20, 21, canceled it. So 22, got it back going again. And without Yamaha's affiliation per se, so we had to come up with a name, and we just scrambled with Dakota Drum Camp, and it's kind of stuck. And then now we're back again this next year. Yeah, it's very
wholesome and strong. It does have a strength to it.
Oh, man. And I've got a great logo idea, but
you got to make it happen.
Those fantastic folks up north kind of took it. It's a drumstick crossed over with a mallet with a piece of wheat in the middle, and it is super cool. They got a great percussion camp up there in Winnipeg. So shout out to them. They're doing some good stuff, and their logo, I love it. If there's any way I could sort of modify that would be really cool. But anyway, so
I know a guy.
So yes, this is our second annual, and we went. We had 15 kids last year. They were all local. This year we went up to 20. We had a couple kids from different surrounding areas. We had 4 from the Eagles drumline from Sydney, Montana, who were students of Kylie Sunt, who was a former student of mine. She played piano in our jazz combo. She's a great teacher.
Yeah, I haven't seen her in years because last time I think that I saw Kylie was at the International Music Camp, and I remember she was they're auditing my class basically, and she asked a lot of questions. Shout out to Miss Sunt.
Miss Sunt is just consummate educator.
Yes.
Just have so much respect for her, and she does such great stuff.
Students were awesome.
They were
so
just
positive and just great leaders.
They were great leaders and absorbed. I mean, they were really excellent kids.
Exactly.
So that's the camp, and we're looking to expand. I'd like to see it to divide as we were in the past to kind of an upper level line and an introductory line. So like a 6, 7, 8 group as well as a high school group.
That would be extremely cool.
Yeah, and that requires more staff and more support. And now that both boys are now in college, and it's Helen and I'm going to have hopefully a little bit more time to kind of focus on that throughout the year. We're making good strides. We're getting good feedback, so I think we want to continue it. So that's our plan.
I hope you do.
Awesome.
There's lots of cool stuff happening out here, and it's just very inspirational coming out and just seeing how the community comes together all around. At least this what I see for the drumline camp and for Chad too, is just how they really help out, and everyone's just really positive about all that's happening. So
yeah,
I really dig it, and I get to be a rock star here for a week.
He is a rock star.
You guys are just awesome for helping me out, just being
Thank you.
able to hang out for the next few days, just working on some drums,
Yeah.
and talking drums and doing podcasts. So this is
Yeah.
really cool. But we got to get to this week's Off the Roof.
Okay.
So
I'm excited. Here we go.
all right, so here we go without sound for us, unfortunately, but we can make up the sound effects as we go.
No.
Them Duke boys. Perfect game too. You're hired. There we go. This week's Off the Roof. Now, Chad may be wondering, is like, what in the world, why we're doing this type of stuff? And I'll just have to explain. Like I would do every week, is that I grew up in that house. I bought it for my dad a million years ago. He's out in a farmstead now. And again, I'm looking for a farmstead too. So if anyone knows one out in North Dakota, not too far from Fargo, but in North Dakota, I don't want to be in Minnesota anymore. No offense, Minnesota. You can't take offense. I'd rather be out in North Dakota. And we used to have the raging parties. Well, when that happens, someone inevitably gets on the roof, and we end up throwing random electronics off and just watch it explode in the driveway. So,
okay.
So I'm just keeping the tradition alive. You want to see something get exploded on my driveway, throw it in my yard, whatever else, we'll come pick it up. We'll definitely destroy it for you. So don't be afraid to do all that. And we'll just get to our ending remarks here, and I'll tell you exactly where you can find us at. So, Chad.
Yes.
For the good of the order, what else do we have?
Thank you for allowing me to be part of your first remote.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
But I thank you for more or less being on.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
I know this is definitely a new type of thing for you.
But this is super, super strange for me. So, but fun. I mean, I get to be the guy in the seat.
Do you realize we've been talking for over an hour without any real...
Okay, but we got to see things come off the roof there and talk about some
30 seconds.
and we switched cameras, so that was also part of our adventure tonight. So, I don't have any closing remarks. I just think this is really cool, and I'm going to plan on tuning in to see who the next guests are and learning about different musicians and artists in the Fargo Moorhead area.
Exactly. Everyone has a story, and I love hearing what they all are. And it's been a great time. Met a lot of people, learned a lot of things, and it's just what it is. So again, thank you for being on. Even though I just kind of dropped it in your lap last week and said, "Hey, Chad, I want to be on a podcast." What?
Yeah.
And you agreed to do it. And man, you are a natural at this. Like I said, we've gone for over an hour, and it felt like 5 minutes.
It really did. It was really smooth, man. Thanks for being so kind.
So you can find us all on the Tiki-Tacs up to the Instagrams on Uptown Tonight Podcast, or else you can find us at uptownbandfargo.com, and you can find everything else about the band and or the podcast. So that's basically how you can get a hold of us. Again, if you want us to destroy something, and you can like, subscribe, and do all the other fun stuff that really will help us out, especially in the algorithms and all that other fun stuff. And sharing. Sharing is also caring.
Sharing is caring.
Yep. So, Chad, you got to remember, your drummer's got more charisma than your front man. Your band may be in trouble.
Yeah.
But that's why my band's doing just fine. So until next time.
Right on.